Twitter for a good amount of the day yesterday, you noticed the name Jacob Wohl. It was one of the highest, I guess you could say, trending stories on social media. Well, what we're talking about is Jacob Wohl. We've had him on the show before. He is attempted to frame Robert Mueller, Elizabeth Warren, and others for sexual misconduct. The same done with Dr. Fauci. And now a woman came forward who claimed that Dr. Fauci sexually assaulted her. She just came forward and said that Jacob Wohl paid her to lie. Now, if you still don't know who I'm talking about, we have a little piece of audio to play for you. This was a Marine that claimed he was hired to have rough sex with Elizabeth Warren. Both Jacob Wohl and Jack Berkman held a press conference last fall. Have a listen to this.
I complied with the instructions of my new client despite being rather nervous. I had to spend time with an older woman many times before, but never a woman over 60. Although I was unaware of it at the time, Senator Warren wanted not just rough sex, but extensive BDSM play.
All right. Well, the man
very
the man that was responsible for putting that whole press conference together, none other than Jacob Wohl, joining us right now on the line. Jacob, I appreciate you coming on. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Jacob?
Jacob, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys, and it's great to join you on the show. And also with me, I thought it would be great. I have Jack Berkman as well, and I have Diana, the girl who yesterday blew the whistle. She joins us here on the phone as well.
Okay,
Hello,
well,
guys. Nice to meet you. This is Jack.
Hey,
yeah,
what's up,
hi, Jack. Thanks for coming on. All right. Diana, I appreciate you coming on. I guess I will start with you. All the reports came out yesterday that you claim that you were paid by Jacob Wohl to lie and say that Dr. Fauci sexually assaulted you. Why did you say that, and what can you tell us about it?
Yes, and I regret it. But, there's something that they have wrong. I see all these articles, and it's, someone close to me, kind of said why I claimed in the first place that Dr. Fauci assaulted me. But I never did that. I was on a conference call, and there were all these reporters, and I was supposed to read a script, and I did not do it. I just said I fell asleep, so I did not claim, whatever I was supposed to read.
So you're claiming that this. So you're claiming. I want to be clear. You're claiming that this sexual assault did happen, and somebody misquoted you in saying that you were told to lie and paid off. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I was told to. I'm not sure who sent what I was supposed to say on the press conference, but I did not say exactly what was sent out before.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what happened then? You're claiming that this is a very serious accusation. You're claiming that Dr. Fauci, who is a well-respected man by most people, I think that's very fair to say, you're saying that he sexually assaulted you. Why don't you tell the listeners what happened?
No, I did not say this. I did not say this, and this didn't happen.
So you were not sexually assaulted?
No.
So how are you connected to Jacob Wohl then and Jack Berkman? I'm completely confused because all the reports that came out in the last several days.
I'm also mildly perplexed.
I am. All the reports that came out yesterday are claiming that you were told that you were paid to smear Dr. Fauci, and now you're telling me that this sexual assault never happened in the first place. So I'm extremely confused. What's the truth here?
I was paid to lie, but I didn't lie.
So who paid you to lie?
I'm not sure.
Well,
let me jump in.
No. I'll let you jump in a second. Hold on a second, Jack. Hang on a second. You're telling me.
She said that
hold on a second.
That she took the money.
JD,
she took the money and didn't follow through with her to the agreement.
You got to let me, ma'am. With all due respect, you're telling me you were told to lie, and you can't tell us on live radio now who told you to lie, ma'am. That makes no sense. You're losing credibility by the second.
Who told me to lie? Yeah. Jacob told me to lie.
Okay, so what did Jacob tell you to say?
A script that I got, and I didn't follow it.
A script? Did that script say to tell you to attack Dr. Fauci?
Yes.
Okay, so we're all on the same page now. That was very simple. Jacob,
well, I'm gonna get a word in here. Let me tell you this, guys. Look, this
is Jack,
doesn't
right?
end with us. This is Jack Berkman, and Jacob.
Okay. I'll
let Jacob speak in a second. This doesn't end with us. I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of taking the heat for the White House. This is a situation.
This has nothing to do with the White House.
Let me tell you what we're not going to do, and I want to be very clear with your listeners. We're not going to have a situation where Jacob and I are hung out to dry by the president. We love the president.
This has nothing to do with the president. I haven't brought
this
sir.
for many years.
Jack, with all due respect,
to dry by the White House.
Jack, with all due respect, I have not brought up the White House. I have not brought up the president. You have a woman on the line that is claiming that Jacob Wohl told her to lie, gave her a script to attack Dr. Fauci. Okay, that is a serious thing. Okay, and with all due respect,
it doesn't end with Jacob and me.
I don't care where it doesn't end. It's where it starts, and that's what I'm focusing on right now. So I want to go to Jacob right now. Jacob, that is a serious accusation. You are no stranger to trying to frame people. Robert Mueller, Elizabeth Warren. I can go on and on. You also said that Joe Biden, in a health smear, saying that the vice president tested positive for the virus. That was not true. You said he would die in 30 days. Now you have a woman. Hold on. Now you have a woman on the line right now. You heard it yourself, who says you told her to lie and you paid her to smear Dr. Fauci. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, she did not say that I paid her. First of all, she did not.
She just said that. That's not true. She just said that. Jacob, with all due respect,
she didn't.
She just said you told her to lie. Okay, well, let's ask her then. Who paid you? Who paid you, ma'am? With all due respect, who paid you?
I didn't know the guy. He came somewhere, and
But you brought up Jacob's name. Okay, but you brought up Jacob's name. You specifically just said that Jacob told you to lie. He gave you a script.
Yeah, Jacob told me to lie.
Okay, Jacob, why are you telling her to lie?
Well, I disagree with her characterization, and I will tell you that.
What do you mean you disagree with the characterization?
From the very beginning, we're concerned with the truth and only the truth. That's what
she just said. You told her to lie. Jacob, I like you. Okay,
and Brian, keep in mind that Jack alluded to the fact that they are following marching orders as well.
Listen,
that they are being told to tell someone else to do something based on apparently someone as high as the President of the United States.
Listen, Jacob, look, you're a funny guy. You're well-spoken. I appreciate you guys coming on. Can we just own up to this and just be honest? She just said you told her to lie. What do you mean you don't agree with her mischaracterization? She just said, quote, Jacob Wohl told me to lie. Why can't you own up to anything? Why don't you own up to that?
Well, I think what you have to understand is that when somebody brings forth an accusation, it's a very serious thing. It's something that I take very seriously. I know it's something that Jack takes very seriously, whether it's against a high-profile person or whether it's, Jack performing legal work and it's against somebody you've never heard of. It's a very serious thing. And when somebody gets on a conference call and gives a press conference and makes that accusation, I think the responsibility for that accusation rests with them and with them alone, whether it's Tara Reid, whether it's Diana here on the phone with us, or anyone else.
Okay, well, this woman is claiming
the accusation lies with them.
Okay, well, this woman is claiming that you told her to lie. So are you categorically denying that? Because now she's saying that Fauci did not sexually assault her. So which one is it, Jacob? Who's lying here?
I've never instructed anyone to be mistruthful in the course of a press conference, a media interview, or any other.
I didn't say in the course of a press conference or a media interview. Did you tell her to lie in just general terms? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so let me bring her back on now. Jacob Wohl just said he never told you to lie. Is he lying?
Yes, he told me to say something from a script, and I didn't.
Okay, so obviously there's somebody lying here. I don't know who this lady is. She sounds like a very nice lady, okay? Jacob, let's be honest here. You have a history, okay? And I think I'm not trying to smear you here, but you've tried to smear a lot of others. The Elizabeth Warren stuff, the Robert Mueller stuff. You are going to court in 2 weeks on a felony charge, okay? I think it's fair to say you're not the most credible person on the planet, with all due respect. I believe her. Again, why can't you just own up to – I don't understand that. Why can't you just say, you know what, I had a conversation with her. I gave her a script. I told her to lie, and then we can move on and talk about other things. Why can't you be
Can
a
I
man
just
and
say,
admit that?
I don't think, this comes from Jacob. I don't think, I've known him actually from the beginning of 2017, and I've seen him change. This is not who he is. I'm pretty sure he's taking orders from somebody else.
Okay, but whether
this
okay, I
goes
understand.
beyond.
I appreciate that.
Diana, have you ever met Anthony Fauci?
What?
Have you ever met Dr. Fauci? JD is asking.
No.
You haven't. Okay. As far
No, I
as
wish.
who he. Okay, fair enough. So as far as who Jacob Wohl is, and Jacob, I'll let you respond to this, and I'll let you try to defend yourself here, but I disagree with her assessment of you. Again, you've tried to frame Robert Mueller. You've tried to make Elizabeth Warren out to be this bondage cheater on her husband, which I thought was ridiculous. In that press conference, the Marine was laughing in part of the press conference. It was obvious he was having a good time with it, not telling the truth. You've tried to attack others for sexual misconduct. A lot of people.
I think he was reminiscing on
A lot of
on
people,
positive experiences. with Mr. Warren.
a lot of people call you Trump's dirty little trickster. Your father is on social media every day defending the president. Odds end. I don't think he's ever attacked the president for anything before. I know that Jack is on the line. I think you lose a lot of credibility when you fail to criticize the president for anything. And for the most part, I know you've gone after a few Republicans, but for the most part, you attack Democrats. And what about this Joe Biden thing where you tried to smear him saying he tested positive for coronavirus and that he would die in 30 days? Can you admit that was a lie?
Well, here's what I would say. First of all, I've been very critical of the president's response to the pandemic on my show on censored.tv, Man Up with Jacob Wohl. I've been very critical of the president's response, perhaps more critical than anyone on the right. So I've been very critical of the president in certain instances. That's the first thing I would say. Now, as it relates to Joe Biden, everyone knows that Joe Biden is a very sick man. People see it.
That doesn't mean he has coronavirus. Don't play that game. Listen, you said he had coronavirus and he was going to die in 30 days. Saying that you believe he's sick and saying he has the coronavirus and he's going to die in 30 days are two completely different things. That's what you said. You need to own it and admit you were wrong. Can you do that on this show?
Well, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to reflect what the prognosis was from our.
So if you're a doctor, then why are you
how
saying
accurate
he's
it was or
sick?
wasn't.
If you're a doctor, with all due respect, then why? Who is it for you to say if you think he's sick?
Brian,
Joe Biden struggles to make it through a basic sentence. In any other,
I thought you weren't a
circumstances,
doctor,
he would
so
be
now
in assisted living.
So he's going to die within 30 days.
He did actually fall asleep. In all fairness, he did fall asleep in an interview with.
Did we lose somebody? Did we lose somebody on the line?
Who did we lose? Which one?
All three, huh?
Yeah, what a shocker. What a shocker. A shocker.
Could you recap that for everybody who just may be tuning in?
All right, so this is
that is making my head spin.
That was one
What
of the
just
most
happened there.
wild interviews we've ever had.
Okay, let
Never
me just explain this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we had two of the most right-wing, I guess you could call, like I said, we had Trump's dirty little trickster on the line.
We did.
Okay, they're cowards. They hung up on us. We had a woman who claimed that she was sexually assaulted by Dr. Fauci. Okay, we believe Jacob Wohl and Jack Berkman paid her to try to attack Dr. Fauci. In return, okay, she was on the line. We didn't know she was going to be on the line. I think this interview backfired on them.
So she made the allegation. She claimed that when she was 14 years old, Fauci sexually assaulted her.
Right.
Correct.
Then she contacted a reporter from Reason Magazine and said, I take it all back. It never happened. In fact, I was paid by Jack Berkman and Jacob Wohl to lie about that.
Right.
Then, surprisingly, she showed up on our air with Jacob Wohl and Jack Berkman and said what? She said, now that story about me being paid is a lie.
I'm going to tell you.
And then a minute later said Jacob told her to lie.
And I don't know who paid me. It was a man. I'm not sure who paid me. By the way, I've never met Anthony Fauci in my life. But, but I wish I had met Anthony Fauci.
Guys,
once
you don't
in my
have
life.
to be that smart to figure out what just happened here. Our interview just backfired on them.
Are you sure?
They just got caught.
I feel like it was a setup.
No.
But
all right. Well,
okay, yeah,
we have Jacob on the line. I don't know why Jack Berkman and this woman are not on the line. Jacob, do you know why they?
No, we're right here too. We're right here, my friend.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you guys being back on. Jacob, you were. Listen. Did you expect this woman to come on the line right now and basically call you a liar? Because that's what she just did.
Well, I don't know if that's what she said, but I'm glad that
What do you mean? Wait, hold on a
we
second.
could put everything on
Hold on a second. Jacob, I'm sorry to interrupt you. See, when you say stuff like that, you lose credibility. She just called you a liar 5 minutes ago. She just said, quote, Jacob told me to lie. And then you say, well, I don't know if that's what she said. I'm sorry, I have to hold you to account. That's exactly what she said. Why can't you answer a direct question? She just called you a liar. You have nothing to say for yourself.
Like I said, I don't agree with that characterization. I don't think that's really what she said. I think
that's exactly what she said.
What she characterized is that this really goes much deeper. This goes much deeper than people want to admit. They want it to be very simple, and unfortunately, it's just not.
Okay, so what she was saying basically is that she doesn't think that you actually wanted her to lie, despite the fact that you did tell her to lie, but that you were telling her to lie based on orders from somebody else. Who could those orders possibly be from, Jacob?
Guys, look, I can tell you this. Go ahead, Jake. Go right ahead.
No, go ahead, Jack. I mean, I don't know.
I was just going to say, guys, look, here's what I'm going to say to that, and I'll say it once and I'll say it again.
Okay.
We have taken enough heat on this issue. We've taken the heat on many issues for the White House. Jacob and I will not take any further heat for the White House on this issue. As journalists, my recommendation to you, if you want clarification, put these questions to the White House press secretary.
This has nothing to do with
this.
Has nothing.
Staff of Mark Meadows, or put these questions to the president himself.
Well, no, I mean, Brian, do you realize what Jack is saying? Jack is saying that the White House is using Jacob and Jack to get things done, like potentially have a woman accuse Anthony Fauci of sexually assaulting her at 14 years old. Jack and Jacob are saying that this is coming from the White House, Brian.
So, Jack, is that true? You are saying that somebody in Donald Trump's administration have told you and Jacob Wohl to do Donald Trump's dirty work and to pay off a woman to
here's
lie.
Here's what I can say to you, and I'll say what I can say about this as a lawyer, and that's all I'm going to say. And I
can appreciate that, Jack.
You're a good journalist.
Absolutely.
Good show. But I will say this again.
Thank you.
You need to put all of those questions to the president, the chief of staff, and the press secretary.
Why can't I just ask you? You're involved in this.
I'm unable to say any more about it for legal reasons, reasons of confidence, and reasons of privilege.
All right, so let me ask you a question then. No, let me ask. Okay, Jack, that's fine. Let me ask you another question then. If anybody, not even the White House, anybody tells you to do dirty work for somebody and try to smear somebody, I'm just speaking in general terms right now, not the White House, and tells you to try to ruin somebody's credibility, when you guys both know Dr. Fauci is not a sexual assaulter. You guys know that. You guys are too smart. I know you know that. When somebody tells you to ruin somebody's credibility, I don't care if it's coming from the White House or if it's coming from a 16-year-old kid. Why would you guys be a part of that? It's a very simple question, Jack.
Yeah, we're in a situation here where people need to understand. Dr. Fauci has shut down the country. It has
nothing to do with sexual assault.
It has made zero.
That has nothing to do with. That has zero to do with sexual assault.
That we know of, it could be 60. That guy put 60 million people. There could be 60 million people out of work, 40 that we know of. And I'll tell you something else. A third of America can't pay their rent.
Okay, you're talking about, excuse me.
Of course, the president has to act.
No, I'm not going to let you get away with that. You're talking about policy. You're talking about policy. I'm talking about smearing. If you disagree with Fauci,
I do
hold
agree
on
with
a
you.
second.
I am not talking about policy. I'm talking about people that are starving. I'm talking about people that can't pay their rent.
No, you're talking about, then you better talk to, then you should talk to Donald Trump about that, because these are his own, these are Donald Trump's own policies.
Let me tell you something. This operation was the right thing to do. The president ordered it, but you have to put those questions to him, not us. That's all I can tell you. I wish you the best.
I'm not even okay. I understand that, but my question still stands. You're talking about Dr. Fauci and you're talking about the coronavirus. We're talking about paying someone off to lie about sexual assault. How do you not understand that you lose credibility when we're talking about these types of issues? This isn't the first time you and Jacob have done this. You've gone after Mueller.
We should talk about Gloria Allred paying off women's mortgages to accuse the president of sexual assault.
That's called whataboutism. I hate it when you guys do that. I'm specifically talking about what you guys have been responsible for. This has nothing to do with Gloria Allred. This has nothing to do with the policies of Dr. Fauci or how you disagree with them. And it has everything to do with the fact that you guys put out these types of conspiracy theories out there with no facts to back it up. You pay people off to smear Democrats, and I think it's disgusting. Why won't you own up to that? Why won't you be a man instead of saying, well, you're going to have to talk to the White House? With all due respect, Mr. Berkman, that's not being a man. Own up to what you have done. Admit that you guys are liars and that you smear Democrats on a regular basis. You have a woman that was on the line right now. It backfired right in your face. She basically called Jacob a liar. That's exactly what she said. Why can't you own up to anything?
Well, we wouldn't smear. We're not in the business of smearing. We don't smear.
Oh, yeah, sure
we
you're
just
not.
Bring
Sure.
forward fact patterns.
Sure, you're not. So saying that Fauci has committed sexual assault, and saying that that Elizabeth Warren is into bondage, and saying that Joe Biden is going to die within 30 days, where all have been proven not factually accurate. You're right. That has absolutely nothing to do with smearing. Are you kidding me?
I mean, Brian, Joe Biden has not.
I've never said.
Public.
I've never made.
He has not been seen in public
in 3 months. I've never accused a Democrat of anything. I've had situations where people come forward and they make accusations, and they were in the right place at the right time, and things happened to them, or the wrong place at the wrong time.
So if somebody came forward to me, if somebody knocked on my door right now and said Jack Berkman is a pedophile and Jacob Wohl molests little children, you'd have no problem with me putting that all over the place. No problem with that at all.
Well, you'd have to make a determination about that, but nobody would ever do that. That's the point. We're dealing.
What do you mean nobody would ever do that? That's exactly what you guys are doing.
Creepy bunch of people. We're dealing with Joe Biden, who's been groping children for decades, and
he's never groped. Excuse me.
Joe
you're
Biden's
trying to
groping Joe. He's known as groping Joe.
I understand you want to defend your accusations, but it's not going to work. Okay. And by the way, how come you haven't talked about?
Joe Biden
excuse me.
Groping children and not me.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay?
There's audio of Donald Trump talking about bragging about sexual assault. Would you like to talk about that, or would you like to talk about the 25?
I would like to talk
excuse
about
me,
that,
I'm not done yet.
How about the
25? How about the 25 women that have come forward that have accused Donald Trump of either sexual assault or rape? Have you talked about that, Mr. Berkman?
There's no evidence behind those accusations.
Oh, really? So there's no evidence behind that. His own ex-wife said that he raped her. There's no evidence. There are court documents, but yet you want to talk about Joe Biden being the sexual assaulter. Do you understand the bias, Mr. Berkman? If you want to talk about Joe Biden, you better be consistent.
I think we may have lost Jack, guys. I think I think we may have lost
Jacob, you said you have an issue with the way that Donald Trump has handled the pandemic. What's your issue with that specifically?
Well, you can't shut down the whole country. Everyone knows that. And I think, he did this under tremendous pressure. But you can't shut down the country. The shutdown is killing people in far greater numbers than is the pandemic, and it will continue to. Korea didn't shut down. China didn't shut down. Sweden didn't shut down. They all saw unfortunate but very manageable consequences as a result of that. And we should have followed suit. Instead, we shut down the entire country. You have tens of millions of people out of work, the worst economy since the Great Depression. And it's only going to get worse from here. You don't just flip the switch and turn it back on.
All right. Well, listen, Jacob, I mean this sincerely. I do appreciate you guys coming on. I do appreciate you answering my questions, even though I wasn't happy with some of your answers.
Brian, we just had 5 people on the phone at once.
Yeah, well, that was a lot.
That's a record for us.
Listen, Jacob, I mean what I say. I think you're a smart guy. I think you're a smart guy, at times funny, entertaining, but I think you're also hurting people in the process. But listen, we'll take it for what it is. I appreciate you coming on our show, and I hope that you're not paying anybody off or telling anybody to lie in the future, because I don't think that's the right way to go, my man. But I do appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Always great to join you. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jacob.
That's Donald Trump's dirty little trickster, Jacob Wohl. I don't think that interview went as well as they would have hoped. I think it backfired on them. They actually had the woman on that claimed that Fauci sexually assaulted her, and then she basically just called Jacob Wohl. Well, not basically. She did. She called Jacob Wohl a liar right on the show. We'll let you decide.
But she also indicated that Jacob Wohl and Jack Berkman are working for someone else, and Jack Berkman just literally said that the White House, that Donald Trump ordered because of what Anthony Fauci, because of what's happened with the economy, and the fact that
I don't believe
everything
that.
is shut. Well, but he just said that that the White House ordered a smear campaign on Anthony Fauci.
I don't care what.
And as the dirty little tricksters, they went through it and they actually tried to make.
Well, it's very interesting when he brings up Joe Biden and he thinks Joe Biden's a sexual assaulter. I bring up the 25 women that have come forward against Donald Trump, and then he hangs up the phone. Zero credibility. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more coming up next. You're listening to the Vegas Take 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.